Yo, what's up guys, welcome back for another YgoPro duel video. Next match, Cross-Banlist Cup, back in Group E for the last time. First of all, we have Airblade Turbo is paired up against Spellbooks, OCG Spellbooks from 2014. If Airblade Turbo wins this one 2-0, then it still has a chance to move on to the top 16, otherwise it's definitely out of the tournament. And yeah, Spellbooks also needs one win to be sure to move on to the top 16 playoffs. So both deck lists still the same. Which deck has the advantage? Well, I believe Airblade Turbo has the advantage. It's very fast, and Spellbooks, at least this version, well, Spellbooks in general aren't really the deck that can OTK your opponent in an instant. And but then again, Spellbooks do have access to Vanity's Emptiness, so that's still a card that pretty much blocks the entire Airblade Turbo deck. So let's not waste any more time, let's hop into the first duel. Right, first game. I think my opponent gets to start. The opponent is playing with Spellbooks, I'm playing with Airblade Turbo. Looking at my hand is ass. Opening with Demok, Malicious. That sucks. Possible answers for this hand, or yeah, options to get my engine going, or like, of course, Destiny Draw, Graceful, yeah, possibly Graceful Charity would have been a very nice top deck. Do you know, set up Malicious, set up Demok in the graveyard and go from there, but my only play was normal summon Diamond Tooth, use its effect, and I believe I revealed another Diamond Tooth. That sucks. I believe we knew also that he did have his, is it Wisdom? I believe a Wisdom in his hand. Indeed, it's Wisdom to negate any, at least he had to make one of his spellcasters unaffected by either spells or traps, so using the Mirror Force was kind of a waste, since after looking here in the replay, he definitely would have used his Wisdom to trigger the Justice in the end phase, but you know, with this hand, it's not going to matter too much. He does sacrifice a Spellbook of Power search, or maybe twice a search of Spellbook of Power if he has access to Master, but yeah, by using Priest's effect, indeed, by banishing a Spellbook from his grave and then using Crescent. But I top deck Jinzo, and again, no reason to play this one out. So game number 2, I get to start. I think I'm relatively safe to just normal summon Stratos, get a search, I believe I search Malicious, and then just pass my turn. Worst case scenario, he gets like double Spellbook of Power searches, but there's no way he can OTK me, right? I have Heavy Storm as a follow-up play. Heavy Storm his entire field. Perfect against any type of back row heavy deck. Okay, he has one monster on his field, but that should not be a problem for Airblade Turbo. He does reveal the Maxi, and I feel my hand is strong enough to attack, or at least yeah, to accept the Maxi challenge. Use Reasoning, and of course they always hit it right. You lose a Jinzo because of this, but I do have access to Dimension Fusion, and Phoenix Blade is such a disgusting card here in this deck, banishing 2 warriors to get it back. It fuels your Magical Stone Excavation or the Lightning Vortex discard, and at the same time it banishes your warrior type monsters from the grave, so fueling your Dimension Fusion. Dasher, big ass beatstick here on board, and now it was just a matter of time, or at least yeah, to get enough beatsticks on board to attack for a game, since no fear, the Spellbook deck doesn't really run any type of hand traps, unless of course Maxi. So game number 3, the opponent gets to start. That's a good start. Maxi is fine, the Compulse as well, and he does have access to Priestess. And yeah, outside of that, setting the Compulse, which is all fine. My hand is good. Normal summon Stratos to get the search Malicious, since you know I set up the Destiny Draw. And again, he has Maxis. But I think again my hand should be strong enough to potentially OTK him. So I accept again the Maxi challenge, but use Reasoning, and my opponent makes a good play. He calls 8. If he caught like 4, 6, doesn't really matter. Demok hits the field, and I potentially should have been able to OTK him, since I did again have Dimension Fusion in hand and the Magical Stone Excavation also in hand, and of course Demok would have hit the field. But yeah, Demok was sent to the grave, and I think I have to pass and hope that I survive, since I still have a possible comeback play next turn. Again, if I survive, right? He does get 2 searches of his Spellbook of Power and a lot of back row. Heavy Storm should be an instant out here. Jinzo, well yeah, he does have a Spellbook of Fate. So, yeah, what are my answers, right? To use reasoning. Of course, he hits it right. Yeah, the Stratos was milled, so that's quite an important mill. Use blade, double blade actually, I believe, to set up the dimension fusion. And you know, Stratos also has a second effect by destroying spells and traps on the field equal to the amount of hero monsters on the field. So he definitely is going to lose his entire back row. Stratos also doesn't target, so you know your opponent has to activate them first before Stratos picks the cards to be destroyed. So, you know, no back rows. And yeah, if my opponent did set the Torrential Tribute, it would not have mattered, since, you know, okay, he would have Torrentialed, made his Priestess unaffected by traps, and eventually I still would have been able to get another Dimension Fusion thanks to Magical Stone Excavation, fueling thanks to the, yeah, double blade, and, you know, Lightning Vortex his Priestess away, and I would have pretty much ended up with the same field to attack for a game. So if he set up Torrential Tributes, no matter, it didn't really matter too much. I had not enough follow-up plays to eventually attack for a game. So Airblade does take this one over Spellbooks, but as said before, the Spellbooks did take one game in this, so it's sitting at 5 points, while Airblade is sitting at 4 points. So Spellbooks definitely go on to the top 16 playoffs. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.